Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Matt Report, brought to you by the Cobos Insurance Center and Century 21 Deanna Realty. Tim Alcorn with AM 930 WEOL, and of course, Shaun Bennett from the Chronicle Telegram. We love to get together each and every week and talk high school wrestling. And Shaun, around this time, it's always interesting because the poor wrestlers out there are looking at all these Christmas feasts that everybody's about to devour. But you talk about disciplined young men, they stay on track and they stay on course. And obviously, with the wrestling that's going on, still a lot to talk about, even though we've reached the holiday season.
Yeah, you're right. Thanksgiving and
Christmas.
It's just brutal. But yeah, a lot of wrestling going on. The first 3 weeks have been jam-packed with a lot of schools out there competing, a lot of tournaments competing in. It's been a lot of fun. Some big performances, some surprising performances, but overall pretty awesome so far, Lorain County wise.
Well, we're coming off a busy weekend. Let's delve into your top 3 performances. Who really stood out for you last weekend as far as the action that just got completed?
All right, well, let's start with Ryan Healy from Keystone. Went 5-0 with 4 pins and a major decision to win the 140-pound championship at the Rebel Invitational at Willoughby South. Obviously a great performance, going undefeated, 4 pins and a major, all bonus points. He did great for his team. But the thing that stands out about him, he's a sophomore in high school. This is his first high school tournament championship. So, props to him for going out there and, he's probably been close several times, kind of wanting to get up on the top of that podium. It's nice to be on the podium, but being at the top of the podium is something special. So great job by him.
And of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Peyton Bergdorf over at Firelands, putting together another great season.
And not a surprise that he lands on a top performance list because he's been getting it done, throughout his high school career. He's now into his junior year. Impressive thing about him is he wrestled 106 pounds as a freshman and sophomore. He's now at 120 pounds, a couple weights up. This week goes in at the Canfield Holiday Duels and goes 5-0 at 120 pounds. And the list of teams that Firelands faced: Weir from West Virginia, Erie Cathedral Prep from Pennsylvania, a real powerhouse in Pennsylvania, St. Edward, Canfield, Kenston. 5 wins against some top-level high school programs.
And of course, a young man that just excels no matter what sport he's playing: football, baseball, and in the winter on the wrestling mats, Jack Resch over at Avon.
And Jack Resch is off to a great start. He had 1 match under his belt heading into this weekend where they went, Avon went to the Frickers Duels at Defiance College. He goes in there and goes 10-0 with 8 pins, including one against Ashland's Jack Bever, who is ranked number 15 in the state in Division I. Plus, he beat 3 wrestlers from high-profile programs from Michigan. So obviously, he missed that first tournament because of the layover from football, but he hasn't missed a beat. He just comes in and just is dominating right out the gate.
It was interesting. There was a profile, I believe, in the Chronicle Telegram about Jack Resch a few weeks back, and of course, he excels, as I mentioned, football, baseball, wrestling, and he was asked what's his favorite sport, and he said, whatever season we're in.
Makes sense.
I mean, it just shows you the all-around great athlete that he is. All right, each and every week here on the Matt Report, a cool feature that Shaun Bennett has put together. It's called My Favorite Move. It's brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. Shaun has an opportunity to actually get with a local wrestler every week and have him demonstrate his favorite move. So who are we going to hear and see from this week?
This is going to be Avon Junior Jordan Greer. This is a good one. If any young wrestlers are out there watching this video, this is a great one because he's going to show what he gets most of his points on, which is a simple single leg takedown, and the way he does it to get a wrestler to the mat. It's one of the moves you learn in biddy wrestling when you're really young, so you can kind of look at his technique and see how well he does with it.
All right, single leg takedown, Avon's Jordan Greer. And again, my favorite move, brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. Let's take a look.
I'm Jordan Greer, and I'm from Avon, and one of my favorite moves is a single leg. It's like my bread and butter, basically, so I'll show it live real quick. And then for like a step-by-step, usually what I like to do is collar tie me first, little misdirection, going left, slap the head, level change, and then a kick finish. One more time fast.
So as you can see, great technique there, and obviously, as you could hear, my son Jacob made his Matt Report debut back there. My son is nonverbal autistic. I took him with me to film the segment, and he has some sensory issues in the Avon wrestling room. So I'm glad that Jordan and Jack Rash, his partner there, demonstrating that move, were able to power through the distraction and show everybody how to get that move done.
That's really cool, though. That's really cool. You bring your son along. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And Jeremy Johnson works with autistic kids, special needs kids, so he was really compassionate about it and said he totally understands and kind of talked to me about sensory issues as we walked out the room. So yeah, he definitely understood what was going on there.
That's really neat. So again, my favorite move brought to you by Century 21 Deanna Realty. All right, each and every week here on the Matt Report, we also take a local coach, kind of put him in the spotlight, learn some few interesting things about a local coach. This week, I love this guy. I call him Big Huff. Gary Huff from Oberlin High School.
Yeah, Gary Huff, second year running the Oberlin program. And like I said, we kind of ask all these coaches different things, and I kind of highlighted some of the fun answers that they had. And some of the cool things I thought, one of his high school, he said his high school highlights, he went 29-1 as a senior and won a district championship. No small feat. We don't have a lot of district title winners every year, so that's a big deal. His best coaching memory, he had a chance to coach Rashad Berry. So obviously under free time he had coaching football. So he's obviously a football coach as well. So
great football coach.
And Rashad Berry obviously excelling down there at Ohio State as a tight end right now. So coaches who have influenced him, Dick Strom, Terry King, and Tom Bauer. Most important intangible for a wrestler, he feels, his heart. Our favorite college program is Ohio State. His toughest opponent, kind of funny coming right behind Ohio State, but is Buckeye,
right.
The Patriot Athletic Conference team, right. Buckeye.
Some irony there.
Yes, and something people might be surprised to know about him, he is a teacher's aide at Murray Ridge.
Oh, that's very special. That's very cool. So again, that's our coach's spotlight on Big Huff, Gary Huff over at Oberlin. Although he's not quite so big anymore. He's dropped a lot of weight. I don't know if he'd be a heavyweight wrestler anymore.
Maybe he's rolling around on those mats. Yeah, I've seen those guys sweating around down there practicing with those kids. So maybe he's down there rolling around with some of them kids, and you can lose a good 20, 30 pounds during the winter.
All right, well, each and every week here on the Matt Report, we also like to have some fun facts, just play some wrestling trivia. Now, first of all, you asked a question last week, so let's start there, the question, and what was the answer?
Yeah, the question was, we talked about a couple weeks ago, the only team that won a title was Elyria in 1973. We said that same year, Oberlin captured its first state championship, Oberlin wrestler. And who was it? We said it was at 155 pounds. That Oberlin wrestler who won a state title at 155 pounds in 1973, Jim Clark. Jim Clark. For those who were guessing that online, congratulations. And then for those who aren't, there you go. There's your answer.
All right, so what's on tap? What do you got for this week's trivia? Some fun facts.
All right, so I'm looking through the archives, always looking for fun things. And one of the things I like to do sometimes when I did my wrestling notebooks was do anniversaries of state titles, guys who have won state titles in the past. And I found something kind of odd because the state championship, the state tournament this year is going to be in March of 2019. So I was saying who in 2009, if a wrestler wins a state championship at this year's state tournament, it'll be the first time a wrestler from Lorain County has won a state title in a year ending with 9.
Wow.
Nobody in 2009, nobody back in 1979 when it started.
89, 99.
Yeah, if somebody says they want to party like it's 1999, they're not talking about Lorain County wrestling. They're not. So
I don't know if Bruce is going to put a graphic of Prince up there now.
Yeah, there you go. So Lorain County schools have won 64 individual state championships in 30 different weight classes because the weight classes have altered over the course of the year. They've changed them up. So I thought that was interesting. Leading the way with 7 titles at 112 pounds. That's the weight class that has won the most. Next up is 119 pounds with 5 titles. So those lower weights are dominating. That's the next one. Lower weights have dominated. 42 state titles have been won between 98 pounds and 155 pounds, and only 22 titles have been won between 160 and 285. So we got the smaller guys have really been getting the job done. We need those bigger guys to get in there and pump that number up a little bit.
So what's our trivia for this week?
So, as we usually do with one of those last trivia tidbits, we kind of tie it in. Of those 7 112-pound state championships, excuse me, 2 schools have won 2 each of those. So 4 of the 7 have been won by 2 schools. Who were the wrestlers who won those 4 titles? And our hint for the viewers are the schools were Oberlin and Columbia. Oberlin won 2, Columbia won 2. Who were the wrestlers that won state titles at 112 pounds?
All right, that's a great question. All right, before we get it over to our pin down segment, real quick, coming up this weekend, I know Elyria is at Beast of the East, one of the great tournaments, obviously over 100 some odd schools, Elyria in a big tournament this weekend.
Yeah, it's right up there with Walsh Jesuit, Ironman tournament. Ranked schools from all over the country get there. This is their 4th year competing. They're looking for another big finish like they had at Ironman to start. They were a little off last year, only 24th out of 121 teams. They're off for them, believe me. That's a great performance, but they were looking for a little bit better. But they've had placers at the event every year, and Dylan Shaver has the opportunity to become Elyria's first 3-time placer at the Beast of the East.
All right, so obviously best of luck to the Pioneers as they go down for that incredible tournament Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, and you mentioned how prestigious the tournament is. I hear there was some news from you about a prestigious tournament in Maryland.
Yes, I do want to congratulate. This has nothing to do with Lorain County, but we've mentioned a lot of girls are now getting out on the mats. There's female wrestlers, and so my cousin's daughter, I guess I could call her a second cousin or a niece, Kylie Alcorn, first place in a very prestigious Maryland tournament, 145 pounds. So Kylie's out there on the mats. I'm proud of her. I said, I got to share that news with my buddy Shaun Bennett.
That's impressive. I heard that and I was like, wow, that's an incredible feat. Girls are doing great things in high school wrestling, but if they go into a tournament and win a title, especially at 145 pounds, that's a strength weight for a girl. She's probably powerful. I'm sure she's probably throwing those guys down and doing pinning them, and it's hard for those guys. I see a lot of those guys get a little upset, when they have to wrestle and lose to a girl, but hey, the girls are getting it done now. They're getting the job done.
Great job, Kylie. Very proud of you. All right, before we close things out, as always, we have our pin down segment. Again, Shaun Bennett out there working that wrestling beat each and every week here on Matt Report. He likes to have a conversation with a local wrestler. So who are you pinning down this week?
This week we caught up with Wellington freshman Derrick Andolsek. He was a middle school state qualifier last year. Pretty high level wrestler at the middle school level. Now a freshman at Wellington. Jeremiah McKee, another freshman at Wellington. Those two make a good 1-2 punch coming in as freshmen. 2 of the better freshmen in the area. So we kind of caught up with him and kind of found out how he's liking the high school lifestyle, I guess.
Very cool. So pin down's coming up next. You'll want to watch that. But in the meantime, that brings this week's edition of the Matt Report to a close. Shaun Bennett, to you and yours, have a very Merry Christmas.
Yep. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Thanks to Bruce Bishop, who's nowhere in the room, but we thank him anyway. John Serb running a little bit of audio here today. Biggest thanks goes to you, the viewers. Again, a very Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. The pin down segment is up next, but for Shaun Bennett, I'm Tim Alcorn. So long, everybody.
Okay, wrestling fans, we've managed to pin down Wellington freshman Derrick Andolsek. We're just going to ask you a couple fun questions. Just feel free to kind of let us know what you think. Let's start with, what's the biggest pet you've ever had in your life?
The biggest pet? Probably a pig.
You had a pig?
I showed pigs at the Lorain County Fair.
What was the? Did you name it?
Yeah, it was Buckeye.
Buckeye. Pet pig, Buckeye. Awesome. What's the last book you read?
Last book I read? Ooh. I don't know.
Not off the top of your head?
I can't even think.
All right. What's your favorite holiday?
Favorite holiday? Probably Christmas or the 4th of July.
All right. Well, you get every 6 months, then you get one of those, right?
Right.
What's your dream car? If you could have any car.
Ooh. Probably some sort of truck.
Like a truck, like a pickup style.
Yeah. All right.
What has been so far your favorite vacation spot?
My favorite vacation spot. I like Niagara Falls a lot, and I liked Louisiana a lot.
Awesome. Well, that's 2 great
different
places.
Parts. Yeah.
What food can't you wait to eat after wrestling season ends?
Cake.
Cake, just straight cakes.
Cake.
Awesome. And what is your favorite ride at Cedar Point?
Millennium.
The Millennium? Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking some time and stopping with us. Thanks, Derrick.